Have you ever found yourself in a situation where no matter what you do, you're somehow the bad guy? Where every word you say gets twisted and even your silence is used as a weapon against you? Well, today we're going deep on one of the most insidious forms of psychological manipulation out there, the zero-win scenario. It's a trap, and it's meticulously designed so that by its very definition, you just can't come out clean. You approach a situation intending to act with integrity, yet every path, including honest silence, leads to the destruction of your reputation or the reinforcement of a false narrative. This is the dark psychological paradox of zero-win scenarios, a calculated, no-escape frame. Just let that sink in for a second. We're not talking about a simple misunderstanding or a tough conversation here. This is a structure. It's an architecture of control, and it's built for one single purpose: to make sure you fail. So here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll dig into the paradox itself. Then we'll define what this endgame really is and piece together exactly how this no-escape frame gets built. We're also going to uncover what drives the manipulator, and this is the most important part, I'm going to show you exactly how to refuse to play their unwinnable game and take back your power. All right, let's dive right in with section 1, the integrity trap paradox. You know, the central mystery here is, how does your own commitment to being a decent, honest person become the very weapon that's used against you? This isn't about you making a wrong move. It's about a scenario that's been specifically engineered so that your best qualities, your desire to be fair, to explain yourself, to find a resolution, are twisted and turned into fatal flaws. Okay, so let's put a proper name to this thing. In section 2, we're defining the rules of what's really gaslighting's endgame. And it's so important to get this. A zero-win scenario isn't just some random argument that gets out of hand. No, it's the final, most advanced stage of gaslighting. It's a deliberate, strategic, and calculated power play. So what is a zero-win scenario, or a ZWS exactly? Here's the textbook definition. It's a coercive construct designed to strip you of your integrity by making sure every single thing you do results in a negative outcome. But look at that last part, because it's the key. The goal is the manipulator's justification and control. This has nothing to do with solving a problem. It's about the manipulator proving a story they've already written in their head, a story where they get to be the victim and they need you to play the part of the villain. And this table just lays it out so perfectly. The whole thing works by taking away your most basic fundamental ways of defending yourself. I mean, think about it. In any normal disagreement, what do? You can stay quiet to let things cool down, you can explain your side of the story, or you can point out what the other person is doing. But in a ZWS, each one of those is already framed as a character flaw. You choose silence, well, you're not being thoughtful, you're admitting you're guilty, or you're being passive-aggressive. You try to defend yourself, to explain, to clarify. Nope, you're just being defensive, unstable, or hostile. And if you actually dare to counterattack and call them out on their manipulation, well, they just flip the whole script and accuse you of being the abuser, of launching a smear campaign. See, every single door is locked before you can even get near the handle. Which brings us right to the heart of this explainer, section 3, building the no-escape frame. And I need you to understand this isn't magic and it's not random. It's a mechanism. It's built piece by painful piece through a predictable 3-phase process that is designed to completely dismantle your sense of reality. So here it is, the 3-step blueprint for the trap. It kicks off with frame establishment. Then comes the most critical part, option closure. And it all ends in what's called narrative imprisonment. We're going to break down each one, because really, seeing the architecture of the trap is the very first step to tearing it down. Okay, phase 1. Frame establishment. This is where the trap is laid. The manipulator doesn't start with a specific complaint you can actually debate. Instead, they hit you with an impossible condition or a really vague, fuzzy accusation that is almost impossible to disprove. Just look at this classic example from the source material. You are subtly trying to undermine me. I mean, how on earth do you defend yourself against that? The accusation is about your secret intentions. That word subtly is the real poison. It means anything you say or do can now be twisted into more proof. And this immediately triggers that deep human need we all have to prove we're a good person, forcing you right onto the defensive and straight into the trap they've set. And now we're in phase 2, option closure. And listen, this is the absolute core of the whole operation. This is the moment of capture. The manipulator doesn't just make an accusation, they systematically and very actively shut down every single healthy way you could possibly respond. They know what you're going to do and they invalidate it before you can even do it. This slide just shows the brutal, simple elegance of the capture. It's a perfect binary trap. If you stay silent when they make that vague accusation, they'll just say, "See, your silence proves it. You've got nothing to say because you know I'm right." But if you defend yourself, if you try to explain, they'll just lean back and say, "Wow, look at how defensive you're getting. You're clearly unstable." You are completely boxed in. There is no right answer. Both roads lead to the exact same place, your character getting torn to shreds. The result they're aiming for here is a state called cognitive paralysis. It's a mental freeze. Your brain, which is literally wired to solve problems and find logical ways out, just short circuits. It realizes that every single healthy option has been taken off the table. And this paralysis is the entire point. It forces you to either do nothing, which they frame as guilt, or to react with emotion, which they then frame as instability. Either way, they get the flawed response they were waiting for. And that flawed response leads right into the final, crushing phase, narrative imprisonment. After you've been trapped, captured, paralyzed, and forced into a no-win move, the manipulator uses your completely predictable failure to slam the prison door shut. This is the moment you're forced to surrender to their version of reality. And the outcome for you, the target, is just catastrophic. You feel this deep psychological exhaustion from fighting a battle you can't win. Your failure to escape the trap is then held up as the ultimate proof that they were right about you all along. And then, over time, the most dangerous thing happens. Worn down and confused, you might actually start to believe that their hostile frame is true. You start thinking, maybe I am unstable, maybe I am passive-aggressive. And at that point, the manipulator has won. They have absolute control over the narrative.
So, we've seen how the trap is built. Now we have to ask the really big question in Section 4. Why? What on earth drives a person to do this? Understanding the psychology of both sides here is the key to defusing the whole thing.
This slide lays out the psychological battlefield perfectly. On one side, you've got the manipulator's motivations. It's about impunity, the freedom to act without any consequences. It's about total control over the story. And it's about narcissistic supply, that sixth sense of satisfaction they get from watching you squirm. But on the other side, you have the target's vulnerabilities. And what makes you vulnerable? It's your virtues. It's your drive for sanity, your need for the world to make sense. It's your drive for justification, that desire to be seen as a fair and reasonable person. And it's your moral integrity, your basic refusal to just accept a false accusation. The manipulator is playing a game of power, while you are desperately trying to solve a puzzle of fairness. That disconnect is the engine that drives this entire trap.
Which brings us to, honestly, the most important part of this whole explainer. Section 5, refusing the unwinnable game. We've seen the trap, we get the motive. Now, how do you disarm it? Because you absolutely can. The trick is realizing that you can't win by playing their game. You win by refusing to play at all.
So, how do you actually escape? Well, the answer is pretty counterintuitive. It takes a radical shift in your thinking, away from trying to defend yourself inside their frame to rejecting the frame itself. The source material gives us a clear three-step defense plan. Step 1, identify the option closure. The second you feel that checkmate feeling, where defending yourself means you're hostile and staying silent means you're guilty, you have to consciously say to yourself, this is a zero-win scenario. Name the trap. Step 2 is the real power move. Refuse the frame. You stop arguing about the details. You reject the entire premise of the conversation. And step 3 is so crucial for your own sanity. Externalize the frame. Get out of that toxic bubble and talk to a trusted friend, someone objective who can see it from the outside. This sentence right here is your ultimate tool. I reject the premise of this conflict. Notice, it's not, no, I'm not trying to undermine you. It's a statement that says this entire game is invalid. You are literally stepping off the chessboard. It tells them, I will not participate in a situation where my integrity is going to be attacked no matter what I do. This statement doesn't ask for their permission. It declares your non-participation. And that breaks the entire machine. And all of this brings us to our final and maybe most important section. Your integrity is non-negotiable. This is where we have to redefine what it actually means to win. Because in a zero-win scenario, winning is not about getting the manipulator to see the light. That's never going to happen. Winning is about walking away with your self-respect and your sanity still intact. So let's wrap this all up. Remember, zero-win scenarios are psychological traps designed so you can't come out clean. The pattern is always the same. A vague frame is set up, all of your healthy responses are systematically eliminated through option closure, and this is all engineered to lead you into narrative imprisonment. But awareness breaks that loop. By identifying the trap for what it is and clearly stating your refusal to play by its rules, you declare the game unwinnable. In that moment, their power over you evaporates. You're not losing, you're refusing to be a pawn in their rigged game. The only way to truly win is to refuse to play. And we'll end on this final thought. You know, in a world that so often tells us to fight every battle, to stand our ground and prove we're right, this is a much deeper kind of strength. If winning is truly impossible, what does walking away really mean? It's not giving up. It's a profound act of self-preservation. It's a declaration that your peace of mind and your integrity are and always will be completely non-negotiable.